Hey everyone, Aussie Viking here. We have to talk about where Halo is going to go with Halo 6, 7, or whatever it's going to be called. Now, Halo 5, it's been done to death. The story was cut in half. We all know this. Now, originally, the trilogy was going to be a trilogy. 4, 5, and 6 we're going to get. Now it seems we're going to get 4, 5, 6, and 7, so it's going to become a quadrilogy. Now, first series basically from Bungie dealt with the Flood, Halos, Forerunners. This series is facing with the Forerunners return and an AI sort of takeover. Now, the next series is most likely going to tackle the Flood. We can probably all agree that that's probably where they're going to go next. Now, what about with 3 and 4? Well, not 3 and 4. 6 and 7, basically. The Halos in 6 and 7 that they seem to be going towards, considering now it's a quadrilogy. Well, for me, I feel like it's going to be a big planetary fight, and it's really going to screw them up for when the Flood returns. We got Cortana, or at least a fragment of Cortana. Now, if you don't know, I believe that at the end of Halo 4, we got ourselves a death scene with Cortana. I also believe, which I think is true, that she died. That's the end of it. But she split herself into multiple personalities and forms to counteract the Didact's attack. So the Cortana we have in 5 and possibly on later on is gone. I mean, not gone. Is one of those fragments that are just going to go and kill everyone because they're insane. Now, it is hinted at in the game Halo 5 that the Warden and such is being not controlled, but has made a deal with someone and maybe actually just pretending to follow Cortana. Now, again, the big thing about Halo is we have to wait until the next game. Now, as a big Halo fan, I did enjoy Halo 5's story, but even I can tell that 343 really screwed up. And it's really heartbreaking, to be honest. Halo 4 was amazing with the themes and the character relationships. Sure, it could have been longer, but overall it was fantastic. And then you go to Halo 5, which fixes the gameplay, makes it some of the best gameplay you'll have for an FPS, and makes some great level design and such. But then you get this stupid story. Well, I wouldn't say stupid, but you just get a story that's cut in half and just isn't finished. You know? Feels like they're just like, so Microsoft, we kind of need a bit more months because we've got this half done. We're almost finished this half. We just need a bit more. No. Sorry, mate. Sorry. 343. We can't do it. Get all this shit out. You can't say no. We've got a release date, man. We got a release date. I'm sorry. And that's probably what happened. I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened. Because it feels like Halo 5 just needed to be in the burner a bit more, you know, had to cook a bit more. Alright, you know, like, just thinking about it really annoys me, and it annoys a lot of Halo fans that Halo 5 could have been so much better. Now, they do say that in Halo, the next Halo, whatever they call it, will be more story-focused and such, which I'm sure will happen. 343 does one of the best things that developers should do. They listen to their fans, and they understand that if they screw something up, and their fans don't like it, they will be like, alright, we screwed it up, we'll fix it, you know. Going back to Halo 4, multiplayer was not that good. It was Call of Duty-ish. Halo 5, multiplayer is amazing and very Halo-ish, and it's big and different and great. There are many things in Halo 4, such as the level design and the gameplay, how it wasn't much different from Reach. Again, Halo 5 completely changes that. We have the armor abilities gone, and we got the armor, I guess you'd say armor abilities, but they're not rechargeable, so you know you can hover and dash left and right and forward and back. You can ground pound and you can slide and such. It's really, really great gameplay and is perfection for an FPS, to me anyway. It just makes you feel like a Spartan, and it's just so good. And the level design is great. I absolutely love going for the campaign and going left and right and up and down. The level design is made so you want to explore and you want to try different routes. It could have been bigger, I will say this, I think it should have been bigger. Instead of giving us the giant Kraken thing and using all the memory and such up for the Kraken, what they should have done is made the maps in those areas bigger, more wider and up, more, you know, wider and more ups and downs, and then just giving us normal Scarab fights. which I hope they bring Scarabs back. Kraken wasn't bad. It just felt like what's the word, like an event. It felt like an event. It didn't feel like it was something. It was random, you know. Like, so when you fight the Kraken, to get onto the Kraken, it's a set event, you know. You can only get on the Kraken when you get to this area in one of the last levels, and it's like, all right, so now we can fight the Kraken, you know. We've got a big open space. We've got flying machines. All right, sweet. Get in there. You can fight the Kraken. Now, when you're in Halo 3 and you had the Scarabs, you didn't really have any of that, you know. You opened up to this big giant area, but it wasn't at the end of a level, and even when it was, you had multiple ways to do it. So look at the first time you ever fought a Scarab. You could ramp up to it, you could destroy the legs, make it come down and jump onto it. There was like an elevator, you could go up and jump onto it. There was many ways to actually get onto the Scarab. Not a set way. The only set way you could basically get onto a Scarab was in the last level, not last level, but before the last level, where you're getting to the Ark's main facility, and those 2 Scarabs drop down. Now, when you're doing this, they've got Marines coming in with the flying machines. I can't remember right now. It's been a while since I played Halo 3. They're like the Falcons from Reach, but they're not. They're I can't even remember. But yeah, they come flying in. You can. The good thing is you can choose. You know, you can choose if you wanted to get on there, fly over on top of them, land on them, so on and so forth. And even then, it didn't feel like it was scripted or anything like that. Like, it didn't feel like, hey, this is how you got to play it, you know. The Kraken fight did, you know. It felt very artificial, and I hope 343 learns that don't do that, you know. Don't do that, please. Look back to Bungie's Halos. You're not gonna kill you if you do, you know. Nobody's going to kill you or attack you or anything like that if you decide to copy one of their elements, because that was a fantastic element that not many games do these days, if any. I don't think I could think of any modern game that has these Scarab fights that are just so fun and open to play. Now, going on with other prospects of Halo, it's really hard to think when it's really this bloody hot. It's always hot. It's Australia. Yeah. Campaign was great in Halo 4. Gameplay was fixed in Halo 5. So it's a mix, you know. Now, with Halo 6 or whatever they call it, I feel like it will be a lot better. Mainly for the fact it's like, alright, so we focused on multiplayer for Halo 5. Alright, well, we got the perfect multiplayer basically right now. All we need is small changes, right? We got fantastic gameplay, which we don't really need to change. Maybe reload while sprinting, and maybe when you get down in campaign you can crawl to your teammates. Other than that, you basically got perfect gameplay for FPS. Level design, all we have to do is make our level designs bigger and more routes to go in and out, you know, little hidey holes and such, and we're fine. So all they really need to actually have to do, they got so much great baseline for Halo 6 or again whatever it's called, that all they need to do is basically go, let's work on the campaign. Let's make this long. Let's make this great, and let's make this very emotional for the characters. You know, let's not fuck them over. Let's not screw them over. Let's not rip out their hearts. Let's not make them yell at anger, not because something happens with a character that makes them angry, because they didn't get what they deserved, because we gave them the wrong idea. Which I'm sure they're also thinking about that too. Now, there is also people saying that the original trailer we got for Halo 5 was actually after Halo 5. So when he's in the desert walking alone, that could happen after Halo 5. Now, it's quite possible that was it. It's also quite possible that they actually had the idea of that for Halo 5, but then they went, well, we got to cut this game up because we've got some problems, or we can make an extra game, you know. Oh, well, this is too big for one game. Let's make it Halo 5 Part 2, and then, you know, Halo 7 or 6, whatever they call it. So yeah, I'm really, and many of you are the same, angry at how 343 actually did Halo 5. Not in terms of gameplay and level design and multiplayer, that's perfect, but in the way that the campaign is heralded. I can't help but feel like someone had to have gone, hey, so we got these cutscenes, why do they just end? It doesn't make sense. You know, who is the Smeggin Smeghead who decides, hey, you know these cutscenes that make sense? Well, let's cut them up and get rid of this part. But we need this part for this to make sense. Nah, you don't. Nah. We'll cut it, mate. I'm higher than you. We cut it. We get rid of it. We cut it there. We fade it out. We fade back into a completely different level. We'll be fine. We'll be good. What's annoying is I can't help but feel like 343 should have just fought and said, hey, no, that doesn't make much sense. Why have we cut it like that, you know? But with all the feedback we've given them, I'm sure they know now not to not fight back, you know? I'm pretty sure now if there was a higher up came in and said, we need to do this, they'd be like, no, no. You remember what you did last time? Get out. You get out. You screwed up. Out. Now. Hopefully they do that. Because Halo 5 is a great game. It's just, again, the story could have been so much better. But it did end in a very interesting way about what happens next with Cortana and a Halo ring. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I am. And I really, really hope we see more, what are they called, Guardians actually fight back. That'd be great, because I really, really like the Guardians design, and I really love the idea of the Guardians, and hopefully they get more Arbiter, and yeah. So where will the story go? Well, I'm fairly certain this will deal with the Forerunners, you know, since the Librarian's still out there, and we've got the other Didact, and then we even still need to know what happened to the original Didact, really. We still need to know that, so hopefully we get that not in a book. And again, it's great to have a big giant universe, but it's terrible if you do not explain it in the game. Now, to remedy this, I will always say this, they should do a biography, they should do a timeline, like they did in Halo Wars. They should do a character-developed, like Wikipedia sort of thing, you know? You click start, a thing called the domain is in there, you click on the domain, you get a whole idea of a lot, like a list of characters. You go down the list, you say you want to know about the Didact, you click on the Didact. It has a picture of him, you know, where he was born, who he is, you know. It has his biography. If you click the X button, the voice actor in the game, from the Didact's perspective, talks about who he is, you know. I was born on here. I am this 1,000 years old. I always hated the Halo rings. I didn't like the Halo rings. I thought against the Faber, so on and so forth, you know. I feel like a first-person view with the character speaking to us in game would be a way better idea than having to go out and read a bloody book. Now, I love reading the books. I love them. I love reading the books. But even then, with all the canon they have now, you know, I can't even remember it all when I'm playing Halo 5 or Halo Wars and such. I can't really remember it all. So it's like, why not have that in-game? Look at games like The Witcher. Look at games like Assassin's Creed. They have all this in-game, and it's amazing. If you get lost, start button. All right, Animus. Here we go. Same with The Witcher. Start button. Biography. Oh, okay, so this monster here, this woman here. Oh, okay, gotcha. That would help so much. And I really hope 343 basically goes, yep, okay, I hope they just get most of their team and go, alright, 400 people on the campaign, 200 or whatever, like 100 or something on multiplayer. Take the best of the multiplayer, do better maps, make some more modes, slightly tweak it a bit, good. Everyone else, make a good bloody campaign, because to me, that's what Halo's all about. I like the multiplayer, but Halo's campaign, story, universe, lore is what brings me back, and many other people. Oh, that was a bit of a full-on rant, I have to say. Now, again, with what happens next, I would think, from what I've seen in the Halo 5 and such, is that Cortana's just going to wreck shit. She's going to attack the biggest, strongest places in the galaxy. We may even go back to Earth, possibly. I have a feeling we'll be on a Halo ring. For whatever reason, obviously because she wants to use it, but why, we don't know. I feel like we might get the Didact to reawaken, either the one that was good, who then turned evil and insane. Well, not evil, more so insane, for the fact he was tortured by a Gravemind. Or we'll get Born Stellar, if I remember his name was, from the Cryptum book, the Forerunner saga. We'll get Born Stellar, and he'll awaken. He'll be like, hey, what's going on, sort of thing. Or maybe we'll even find the Librarian, because she's still alive. I'm hoping we get the original Didact back. he becomes a bad guy, a better bad guy, because even though he was fleshed out in the game Halo 4 from the terminals, but in game without the terminals, he was a bit like, what the hell's going on? But if we can get his character fleshed out next, and he's controlling, everything from behind, he's controlling Cortana, he's the one that's controlling the Forerunner weapons and such, and the AIs, that'd be great. Make him evil, make him much more evil, making me understand why he's like that. And then you could have Chief and the other teams going on a journey because they found out there's another didact that could help out. Well, yeah, another didact. Again, I will explain that in another video, but like, and you could just imagine that. And if you bring the librarian back, she could see how insane her husband, the man she once loved, is dead. Is gone. This isn't the man she loved all those centuries ago. And you can have her fighting with Chief and all that, and then you could have the other didact come in, and he could be like, "What happened to you?" And you could have some great conflicts between the didact, the librarian, his wife, and the born stellar didact. I think he's I know the your didact is the original didact. The other didact, I can't remember. He's got like a little symbol at the front of him. But yeah, I feel like that'd be a great way to go. And you can even do stuff with Cortana, and by that I mean have Cortana just... Well, if they do confirm that this Cortana, and I do think this is true, that this Cortana is just a fragment of the other Cortana, I feel like that would be a great way to go. Chief comes down, he finds another fragment of Cortana, he finds out that all these fragments of Cortana aren't her. Could you imagine that? He's on a planet, and he gets a call from Cortana saying, "What's going on? Where am I? What are these things in the sky?" And he goes and finds her. He finds her, and even though they think it's a trap, it's not. He finds out that Cortana has split herself up, and these aren't the Cortana she knows. They might have the memories, but they're not the same relaxing, caring person, And you could how great would it be if he has to tell this Cortana that, and she just dies. Not in front of him, but she just mentally just goes wow and dies. And he has to like deal with that, and you could have like this demented Cortana in his head that's dying sort of thing, and he's got no way to stop it, and the only way to and he has to fight this Cortana that isn't her, and it's hard to kind of explain, but like the premise is John meets another version of Cortana that was split up. He talks to her and tells her that she's not the real Cortana, and that Cortana just loses it, sort of thing, and it could create so much drama, and I just really hope that happens, or something like that. The Halo universe is an interesting place, and I cannot wait to see at all ever where it's going to go, because I am by far one of the most happiest people ever about where it's going to go next. Anyway, that's my video that I have. I'm hoping that 343 listens, and I'm positive they will. Again, with the Brian Reed stuff, don't have him don't have him lead writer. Take him down, get a better writer, get one from CD Projekt Red, get a better head writer, take Brian Reed back as just a normal writer, I think that's the best way to do it. Anyway, that's Aussie Viking out. That's my Let's Talk on Halo 5's future sort of thing, with the campaign and such, and yeah. See you on Valhalla. Bye.
Excellent work, Spartan. That's a victory.